welcome back to the channel. It's the Twisted Witch Midnight Moonsong here. And today I want to talk about something that I have honestly seen nobody talk about. And I don't know if that means that I'm the only one that uses it in their craft, or people just don't feel like it needs to be talked about, but I'm going to talk about it. Also, you'll know that I'm wearing a mask. I actually have kind of a cold, so I'm sniffling, a little runny, so just to save you all the Rudolph nose, I'm going to just wear the mask the entire video. But yeah, so without further ado, let's get started. So what is the magic of tears? Well, tears come to be when we are overly full of emotion, whether that's pain, sorrow, anger, or also happiness, love, euphoria. And it's our body's way of dealing with these, of manifesting them and making them sort of easier to cope with and mentally go through. It's our body's way of letting others know from a physical sense that something is happening, something is hurting, something is making us angry, something is making us really, really happy and overjoyed. Tears are an exponential part of who we are. And I know some people don't cry a lot. There are some people who just don't. People like myself, back in the day, I never cried. I remember going to funerals for family members and not being able to cry and feeling so bad about it, but I just wasn't a crier. I was also very, very shut off. And when I was able to work through that and get into a place where I was more in touch with my feelings and I started allowing myself to feel, I started crying more. Now I can cry at a movie, which I never used to do that. But there are moments in movies and music or whatnot where I have cried and I will cry. There are lots of moments in my magic where I'm so overcome with the wonders of what's going on that I just cry. It happens. Like, for example, when I first connected to my patron, Loki, I'm not going to go into the story because I do want to save that for another video, but when I did connect, I realized so many things that had happened in my life that he was there for, and so many things that he could understand, things that obviously were similar, like they weren't exactly the same, obvious, but they were similar in the way that the outcomes and the way things turned out in certain ways to bring apart certain feelings, and the doubt and stuff that I was going through resonated in the same way. And I was so happy that I found such a strong and loving connection with him that I just lost it. Same thing with, when I connect with certain guides that I work with. When I found them, I realized what they were. I was so overcome with that love and that support that it just happened. It does. It happens. And I know I'm not the only witch to experience that. But it seems to me that no witch really seems to save their tears almost. Now, that might seem like a really strange concept, but hear me out. When we are so overcome with emotion that it's pouring from our eyes, what happens? Well, that's wasted energy. That's exactly what it's. I'm sorry, guys. I am stumbling so much over my words today. Like I said, I have a cold, so I don't feel my best. So I'm going to be stumbling over every word I say in this video, I promise. But anyway, when we cry, that's all that energy that's there. Those tears are holding so much of that excess energy. That's the reason for their existence. So then how do we use our tears in our craft? Do we make ourselves cry? No. Forcing yourself to do it won't hold the same energy as just letting it happen naturally. So how then do we incorporate that? Well, when we start crying, what I like to do is keep a sacred cloth handy. You can charm it with moon water, you can charm it with the moonlight, smoke, whatever you do, and put in the intention to gather the energy from the tears when you wipe your face. So whenever you're doing a ritual or you're doing something that is bringing you great joy, you carry this cloth with you. And if you start crying, you use it to wipe the tears away. And when you do that, all the energy that is in those tears, that hope, that love, that trust, all that gets put into this cloth. And then in your craft, that energy can then be used to do whatever you want. Lay it out, like you would an altar cloth. Of course, I don't expect this sacred cloth to be as big as an altar cloth at all. It'd be kind of amazing if it was. But just kind of lay it out, and you can charm things on it. You can put crystals on it. You can make it into a little sachet, a little bag. Do whatever you want, because that energy, that love and that trust and stuff that you felt at that time, all that energy is now in there, and it can just serve to remind you of how wonderful it is to be you, and how wonderful it is to be that person in your magical world. And all that energy is then put to use. It's not just left to float away. And like I said, it seems like to me that people don't really talk about this, and I don't know if they do it. Maybe I'm just weird. Maybe, it's just what I do. There are times where I'm so overcome with whatever I was doing, with that joy, that I actually just kind of wipe my tears away with my hands, and I cleanse my hands with it. I just rub them together, and I speak into it the intention of filling myself back with that emotion, of allowing my hands and my actions then to reflect the same way that I'm feeling at that time. If I'm feeling love, then I'm taking it into myself to give that love back to the others around me. If I'm feeling an exponential amount of support, then I use it to charm my hands and myself, essentially, to then be able to give back that type of support to other people. There are so many things that you can do with this energy. And I guess, technically speaking, you can gather it in a bottle. I don't gather my tears in a bottle. I think that'd be a little bit more difficult, because by the time I got the bottle and got ready to put it in there, I probably would, the magic would be lost, so I would just kind of stop crying. But that's why I said it's easier to keep a cloth around or use your hands like that, because we all wipe the tears from our eyes anyway. So that is a lot easier to still kind of keep yourself dwelling in that wonderful, great energy and still utilize the tears that are there. Now, you can also use this cloth as a way to bless things, because tears are the symbol of letting stuff out. They can be symbols of letting stuff go. So when you're sad or upset, you can use a different, and I would recommend definitely a different sacred cloth. Don't use the same cloth for your happy tears as for your sad tears, or your angry tears. But you can use that as a symbol of letting that anger go, letting that sadness go, and working through things. And you can collect it in that cloth, and then you can bless talismans, or do the same thing you can with the happy tears, but do it for those reasons. Help you to process grief, to work through your anger and work stuff out rather than keeping it all inside, not knowing what to do with it. Your tears are such a great thing to have, such a great tool to utilize, essentially. And like I said, I don't hear people talking about that, and it made me wonder, am I just odd? Is that just me, or what? What's going on? So I just felt it'd be kind of cool to make a video on it and to kind of talk about it a little bit. There's not much to talk about with it, unfortunately. As you can tell, this video is probably going to be like 10 minutes long, but Yeah, that's what it is. I guess also if you do certain meditations or certain connections to a certain deity or spirits, you can have a special cloth just for them. And the tears and stuff you wipe onto this cloth have to do with any of the time you connected with them, that they've helped you through anything. And that'll just help to give that connection that you have with them. That connective energy will be in that cloth then. You'll be able to use that, utilize that. You can keep it on an altar for them, ready to use as you need. You know, it can just be used as sort of an offering to them as a way of showing gratitude. There are so many things like this that you can do with your tears. So utilize that energy. Don't just throw it away, because it can be very useful. Well, that is it for today. It is a little bit of a shorter video, I guess. But if you do use your tears, or you have any more ideas, you know, be sure to comment down below. I love talking to you guys. I love hearing about you, and I love hearing about what you think on my videos. It makes me happy. So stay well, guys. Stay safe. And of course, if you enjoyed, leave a like and hit subscribe and ring that notification bell. And I'll see you all next time. Blessed be.